How old are you and what university are you attending?
I'm 28 and I go to ASU.
How many hours a day do you spend on social media?
Maybe like 2 to 3.
Okay, which social media platforms do you use most frequently?
Instagram.
How do you feel after spending time on social media, and does it have an effect on you emotionally?
I typically feel fine and it doesn't really affect me emotionally other than make me, I guess, smile because majority of the stuff that's on my Instagram is memes.
Okay. Do you think social media has an impact on your self-esteem? And if yes, how?
I don't really feel like it has any effect on my self-esteem.
Okay. Can you describe any changes in your social interactions due to social media use?
Maybe in my lexicon or like the things that I say or the jokes that I make will be in reference to things that I'll see online or that I'll send to friends. So it just becomes a part of my just daily vernacular.
Okay. How has social media influenced your views on body image?
As a guy, I don't really think that there's many influences for body type other than I'll follow like some weightlifting uh, site or pages or like rock climbing pages, and there's not really an emphasis to change, more just to like, oh, if you want to build muscle, you can, but there's no serious influence.
Okay. Have you experienced cyberbullying or harassment on social media? If so, how did it affect you?
Um, I it just depends. Like if I post something that's uh, I guess charged in some way and somebody doesn't like it, then sometimes they'll feel the need to comment or something, and typically I don't really care. I don't really pay any mind. But sometimes if like it's someone who I knew from my past or whatever, I'll engage for a little while until it becomes uh, sort of toxic, and then I'll just remove myself from the conversation and block the person because I don't really care enough.
Okay. How often do you compare yourself to others on social media?
Uh, I don't know, less than 10% of the time, maybe like 5% around. And it's mostly just, again, not body wise, but more like mentality. So if I like the way that somebody thinks about something, then I compare that to the way that I believe something or think about something, and then, make changes as needed if I want to, or sit on it for a little while and then see if that really applies to my life.
Okay. Have you ever felt pressured to portray a certain image or lifestyle on social media?
Maybe when I was in like ninth grade or 10th grade. I think I had a friend who had like 2,000 followers, and I thought that that was like the coolest thing ever. And he was like telling me, "Oh, you got to post this and stuff." And so I think I still have some of those posts archived in my Instagram, and I'll go back and I'll like cringe real hard because just making a stupid face and with a really just cringy comment. And so I guess that's the only thing. But I mean, that only lasted for like maybe a month until I got bored with it.
Okay. How does social media use affect your sleep?
I don't really think that it does. I don't scroll through Instagram or any other social media website before I go to sleep. Typically, I'll watch like a YouTube video or something, but that's not really social media.
Okay. Have you noticed any changes in your mental health related to social media use?
Maybe positively, because I follow a lot of more, I wouldn't say motivational speakers, but I'll follow like um, just again, changing your mentality about certain things or ways to look at things. I'll say maybe when I was in my undergrad that I had followed more like political pages, and I guess that would make me more angry or upset or something like that. It would just be like those quick headlines that would kind of get you in a or get me in a little bit of a frenzy. But then I just didn't really want to feel that way anymore, so I just unfollowed most of them, and I just followed maybe one or two news things just so I can at least get something.
Okay. Um, how do you think social media has influenced your relationships with friends and family?
Um, I don't really think that it has per se. I mean, maybe there's some people who I've had in my life previously who are like, no, I wouldn't say close friends, but like acquaintances or just somewhat friends who I'll see they'll post things that I just don't really agree with, or like I don't really like that lifestyle. So I'll just unfollow and just stop talking to them altogether. But then again, I really keep my friend circle close, or I don't really have too many close friends, so it really doesn't affect me too much.
Okay. Do you find yourself procrastinating on tasks because of social media? If so, what are the tasks?
Uh, Maybe if I get like bored, I'll like scroll through Instagram if I have to do like notes, or if I have like a homework assignment that I'm not really interested in and that I'm already kind of bored with, then it's easy for my mind to wander. So maybe on those types of tasks, uh, I wouldn't say it happens too often, but maybe if I have to write like a big paper, like a page or two in, if I'm already, just bored, then I'll scroll for a little while before I go back.
Okay. In your opinion, what are the positive and negative effects of utilizing social media on college students?
Positive because you are able to get information and learn about things pretty quickly. It's hard for people to stay just in the know about it unless you go like really searching, but something like social media can present these things to you pretty quickly, or pretty easily. And so I think that that's a positive. And also, it's nice to sort of, I guess, keep in touch or just see what people are doing that within your life. But on the negative aspect is kind of that same thing where it's if you don't have the wherewithal to actually do your own research, like if you see something that's interesting, not just taking what that post says and what the comments are saying as fact and actually doing your own research and discovering for yourself, then you fall into these pitfalls. And I see that a lot with a lot of the students that are in my classes, especially when it comes to, like I mentioned before, like the politics stuff. It like really throws people in a frenzy where it's you have to kind of just separate yourself a little bit from it. And I think that females have a much harder time with social media because there's so much more of a influence or a it's kind of like a magnifying glass on this is the way that your body's supposed to look, and this is what you should be doing at this age, and this. So I think there's a lot more for women than there are men. So I think that if there's a beauty trend or something, I'll see it a little bit more often. Like if I see one or two posts on Instagram, if it randomly pops up on mine, then I'll start to notice it everywhere. At least with females. With like my male friends, I don't really see it all that often, except for again, I just follow like the comedy posts. So we all know the certain words or the whatever the hip new joke is.
Okay. And the final question, what would be helpful messaging when attempting to raise awareness of the potential mental health behavioral effects from social media?
Um, I don't use TikTok, but I think I've seen that there's like if you've been scrolling for a little or a certain amount of time, it like tells you like, hey, you've been looking at this for a while, or like go take a break or something like that. I think that that's something that could be applied to everything.
Mhm.
Um, I really feel when it comes to social media, there's no escaping from it. It's here, and everybody has access to it if you have a smartphone, which are basically the only phones that exist now. I think for myself, my parents didn't allow me to have social media until ninth or 10th grade, like I was saying before. And so his mind was already not fully developed, but developed more than at least some of the students that I know who are in like fifth grade and sixth grade who have phones. So I think that maybe messaging towards like adults who are like, hey, if you have kids, don't let them have social media, or, very closely monitor. I mean, even parental controls, you can get past them, or there's ways around it. So I think um, it lies within the responsibility of parents. So maybe some sort of marketing for that to be like, hey, don't really pay attention to what your kids are being influenced by. And then again, like I said before, with like the TikTok thing, just hey, you've been on this for an hour, go outside.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Austin, for contributing to this research
Yes,
study.
yeah, of course.
That's all.